Welcome back to the JCPod, partner with Stare Down Sports. I'm your host, Jaden Chandler Parnell, and wow, man. The Super Bowl is set. Chiefs-Niners. The rematch of 2020. Will COVID be right behind it? No, honestly, crazy, man. It's almost... I don't want to say this was almost expected, but going into this weekend, I think there was a lot of us that were not going to be shocked if the Chiefs-Niners ended up winning. If we told ourselves otherwise, I think there's a lot of people who just... wanted to believe in something, because, yeah, I won't lie, I wanted the Ravens to win, but Mahomes is like Thanos. He's just inevitable. So, yeah, pretty much today, all we're going to do is go over some NFL news. It's going to be very simple. Go over NFL news, just kind of talk about what we saw in the what I saw in the championship game, some reactions from it, how betting went for it, and all that, and then probably just give, like, a quick look ahead to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm probably going to save all my Super Bowl stuff for next week. I won't even lie to you, like, Thursday. It's probably just gonna be like some slight NFL news, and then we'll probably have to find we're gonna have to find something to do, because yeah, I don't know what I want to do for. Sorry, I just have to fix something. I don't know what I want to do for the Thursday episode fully. Like, I have an idea. I just don't know. Like, obviously there'll be some Super Bowl talk. I just don't know. The thing I'm thinking off the top of my head is kind of like a journey on how the teams got there. So I'm debating if I want to do it in 2 episodes or just 1. Like, obviously I'm gonna go over a little bit of news Thursday, but I also might go, talk about how the 49ers got there, all the storylines they had to deal with this season, and also the Chiefs, how the Chiefs got there versus all their storylines. That's what Thursday might be. We're still workshopping it. Might be some college basketball talk with my boy. I haven't had him on the last 2 weeks. I've been meaning to, so we got to figure that out. So that's pretty much what the plan is for that. But yeah, for today, we're just going to go over some news. Talk about there's not too much to talk about in the NFL world, because it's kind of... We're in, like, that weird phase between we're in the middle of the, like, right before the off season. The season's still going on, the NFL draft. So it's like the weird point where there is news, but there also isn't a lot of news. So we'll just have to see and go through it. So the first thing, like, the Ravens are looking to hire the Chargers are looking to hire Ravens executive Joe Hortiz. Hortiz? Hortiz. I'm guessing Hortiz. I probably could be pronouncing that wrong. I really apologize. That's something I need to get better at a little bit. Some of these names. Yeah, I won't lie. There's another thing Odell came out and said, like, this. He felt like this was Lamar's year. There's a Ravens fan. I heard Bill Simmons talking about it a little bit. There's a Ravens fan he was talking to. I can't remember her name exactly, but she was talking about almost too how this is pretty much probably like the best chance to do it this year. Because if you really think about it, this probably was their best chance when it comes to the Ravens. Deshaun Watson hurt and injured. Who knows if he's actually good, though. So, I mean, the Browns end up struggling a little bit. Browns struggle, so they end up getting placed the Houston Texans. The Steelers were not very, very good this year in their division. They probably look to be better. The Browns look to be a little bit better next year. They get a lot of their guys back. Joe Burrow's gone this year for the Bengals. He's going to be back next year. Josh Allen played kind of bad. Will he play that bad again next year? Aaron Rodgers was injured. He couldn't play. Anthony Richardson even was injured for the Colts. So, I mean, like, and I think they even beat the Ravens, or if they didn't beat the Ravens, they should have. I mean, it's one of those situations where this just felt like the perfect year for the Ravens to do something, but we're going to talk about it here in a minute when we go over the games. Mahomes is inevitable. I'm not going to lie. I don't know why I went over the news first. Let's break down these games. Screw the news. Well, I didn't give up too much big news, so I'll just probably throw that in with, like, an intro or something. Yeah, let's talk about the games first. I don't know why I kind of did that. First game, Chiefs-Ravens. This was kind of like a, we'll call this a crockpot game. This one was a little bit of a slow burner, and especially towards the end. I mean, it was 17-7 going into half, and the Ravens scored a field goal outside of half, but in the second half, other than that, there was no scoring at all in the second half. 0 scoring in the second half. Besides the field goal. That's my only concern. Watch this game. You could tell that the Chiefs have been there, and you could tell that this was the Ravens' first time. Lamar, I'm not going to say he looked. This is probably one of the worst Lamar Jackson games he's played all season. He just didn't look as comfortable in the pocket. He was holding the ball for longer than he does. It felt like they didn't. But the biggest thing, I don't even want to talk about Lamar Jackson. It's the rush attempts, my boy. What are they doing? I'm going to talk about it here. I'm going to pull this up. I found the stat on X that pretty much, like, I thought it was weird how much they ran the ball, but here, we'll go over it to explain it better. This is for week 1. This is from week 1 to the AFC Championship. So I'm going to read out probably about 16, 17 rushing stats. So for example, week 1, 24 rushing attempts. RB carries, sorry. This is 24 carries from running backs. So we got 24, 21, 22 in week 3. And this is for the whole season so far. 21, 19, 24, 18, 23, 27. Can you get a theme? 16, 21, 22, 15, 30, 19, 25, 17, 31. This game, 6. They just got hit out of their... They got flustered out of their game plan almost, it felt like. I guess something else I learned is the Ravens haven't been down at all this year. Or they haven't been losing in a game by more than 8 points, I think, since last season. Or in 2021 even, I think. So it's been a good bit. And you could tell, man, they looked kind of panicked. They were only down 14 most of the game, and you would have thought they were down like 20 with the way they were playing some possessions. They were playing... Felt like they needed to get a lot going, and they just couldn't. They didn't get the run game going, and their run game was pretty effective, the few plays they ran it. So that's very frustrating. Zay Flowers, about to score... I won't lie. Zay Flowers had 2 huge mistakes. One was his fault. The other one's kind of just like an amazing play by the defense. First one... He has an amazing catch, Zay Flowers. At this point, it's 17-10 because this is second half. Or sorry, probably 7. This is probably 17-7 at this point. Second half. By the way, Chiefs' second half, like punt. Punt. I think it was like literally 4 or 5 punts and then a kneel down for the possession. So they did nothing the second half. The Baltimore defense balled out yesterday, holding them to only 17. Comparatively, what the Bills and whoever you call it, the Bills and the Dolphins did. But yeah, I mean, Zay Flowers. Makes probably one of the biggest plays of the games, gets down to the 1. Hits him with the good old, hits him with the triple whammy. Not only, he pushes him off him, spins the ball on him, and taunts over him. I mean, you do one of those 3, you maybe don't get called. Do all 3, it's a guaranteed call. Like, I hate the taunting rule in the NFL, but by definition, that was, yeah. The second you saw him do it, it's like, oh, man, bro. And so sure enough, he taunts and knocks him back. They end up kicking a field goal, I think. And then the one that really killed him was the fumble, man. Zay Flowers reaching for the end zone. 1 yard away, gets punched out by Ladarius Sneed. Who, by the way, or Ladarius? Shout out to Sneed, man. He's been one of the best corners all year in the NFL. And he does again, makes another huge play. He's pretty good, man. I'm not going to lie. He's pretty good at football. Had a really good season all year. Kyle Hamilton finally gives up the first touchdown to man coverage to Travis Kelce, who had an amazing catch. Can't believe him and Pacheco were plus money on the bets. You can't believe it. I have no clue why they were plus money. That's honestly pretty shocking. We'll take it, though. We'll take it. But, yeah, the Chiefs end up handling business, man. The Ravens' offense just looked a little bit flustered. Lamar missed a lot of deep balls. Lamar just didn't look comfortable. That's the biggest thing. I'm not going to act like Mahomes was the best thing ever. He played an all-right game. I mean, I read the stats. He only threw for 1 touchdown. 30 for 39, 241, 1 touchdown. The biggest thing is he just, held drives together. The biggest thing was just the game management part of the game. That's what I think that my favorite part about Mahomes is now is not only can he beat you with the deep shots, can he make all these special plays. He showed us hey, I'll game manage this. They had 9-play drive touchdown. I mean, they held the ball in the first half for 9 minutes. I mean, you want to talk about getting Lamar out of his zone. He barely had the ball, so he probably felt rushed like he needed to make plays because they were barely touching the ball. And then sure enough, the Chiefs are able to capitalize on a lot of those chances. I mean, Lamar also had a really bad pick in the end zone that I know people were complaining about, where's the PI? I mean, I won't lie. Probably was a little bit of a push, but I mean, with the ball that bad, I don't know if they're going to call it. But yeah, I don't know what else. If there's really any much else I got from this game. Pacheco 24 for 68. So I mean, he wasn't even carrying the ball that well. They were just determined to give him carries, and he eventually scored a touchdown. Big shout out to Kelce, man. 11 for 11 for 116 and 1. Bill Simmons has been saying this best. Kelce can't put a full 3 hours together. You can only put 2. Kelce was really, really good for a lot of that game. And then there were just times where it just felt like, where is Kelce? Shout out to MVS, man. MVS had a really big play as well. Yeah, MVS ended up hitting his over, not only receptions, but on receiving yards on the second catch he had of the game, which was the deep bomb that pretty much won them the game. Because, yeah, Baltimore needed to get the ball back that last drive. Baltimore needed to get that ball back. We'll read this. Let's read this last drive. 7 plays a minute. Is this the, I think this is it. Yeah, not that Justin Fucker, Jesus Christ. Justin Tucker kicks it off. So yeah, this is pretty much the drive. So this is to win the game. So pretty much Isaiah Pacheco rushes for the rushes the penalty right away. The defense had too many men on the field, so it's 1st and 5. Pretty much 1st and 5. So the Ravens are like, you know what? Let's just reset this. Roquan Smith just absolutely runs over one of the guards. So they get hit with an unnecessary roughness, which I guess I get, but I mean, you could have just gave him the first down. But, like I said, I also kind of get the unnecessary roughness. He did run the guy over, and he smacked the hell out of him. Refs weren't happy about that. Next play, Pacheco goes for -1. Next play, Pacheco goes for 2 yards. 3rd and 9, you're sitting here. There's about 2:19 left. The Ravens can get the ball back. I don't think they have any timeouts at this point. I think they're all out of timeouts, but they at least have a chance to win the game. I mean, it's Lamar Jackson. He can probably make some magic happen, right? Patrick Mahomes, deep pass over the middle for 32 yards to Marquez Valdes-Scantling. The last few years, MVS has been dropping these balls. These last 2 games, he has come up clutch with these 2 catches. That catch pretty much seals in the game. Shout out to MVS, man. He went absolutely off. So, yeah, I mean, it was not a bad game at all by the Chiefs. Kelsey was the big guy for 11 for 116-1. Rashee Rice at 8 for 46. He had a touchdown called back on some holding, which I won't lie. After I kept more and more, I watched him like, yes, it is. I mean, if the guard doesn't wrap him up with his left arm, it's a touchdown. Just because the guard simply wrapped him up a little too much and got a little too much of him before he let him go for the screens. I mean, for those of you who don't know on the screen pass, I mean, you're pretty much just supposed to, it's almost like the opposite of what the D-line versus O-line does on screen plays. Like, on screen plays, the D-line usually, on normal plays, if you're an offensive lineman, you're trying to block the defensive lineman, hold him up, especially on pass plays. So on this one, it's kind of the opposite. You want to basically almost do a defensive lineman. You'll knock his hands down, swim over him, lay him, do whatever, and then you're going to the next level, worried about the next guy. What's the dude's name? 65 for the Chiefs. He ended up just holding on to him a little bit too long, and as the guy lets go, they get called for the penalty. As he gets called for the penalty a little bit. As he holds him a little bit too long. Like I said, that would have been touchdown enough for Rashee Rice. If not, other than that, man, Justin Watson 1 for 16, MVS 2 for 38, 4 for 14 for Pacheco receiving, which his receiving over I think was at like 14.5, so that is scary. The big one that sucks, I won't lie, Noah Gray 2 for 8, item over 9.5. That one sucks. I won't lie. That one hurt a little bit, but yeah, shout out to the Chiefs, man. That was a really, really big game by them. And then it takes us into Sunday Night Football. 34-31, 49ers win. Lions up 24-7 at half. How did they blow that? 17 points unanswered in the 3rd quarter. Brock Purdy, is he the man? Oh, there's a lot of that stuff going around the media right now. Like, what is going on? Who is this? First of all, I won't lie. Shout out to the Lions, man. First, I won't lie. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. First drive punt. We're going to block it in. First drive punt. Let's see how it does. And they scored in 3 plays. By 13-27, Jamison Williams was rushing in the end zone for 42 yards. I won't lie. MGM had this $1 million picks thing I totally forgot about. They're giving out bonus money to people who got it right. I got all 3 right for this round, so I'm very curious to see how that goes. Because I had Kansas City to win, 49ers to win, and then it's like, who do you think will score the first touchdown in the 49ers-Lions game? I put the receiver. So that was pretty cool. I'm pretty sure I hope I did not read that wrong. It said Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure it said that. So I need to look at that because that was pretty cool. But yeah, right away, boom. James Williams touchdown. 49ers kind of don't do anything. Boom. David Montgomery touchdown. They answer right back. Christian McCaffrey scores a touchdown. So now it's 14-7. But it doesn't matter. Boom. Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown. And then they get a 4th and basically 3 or 2.5, whatever you want to call it. Or just far enough to where Dan Campbell doesn't want to go for it. They kick a field goal. 24-7 at half. And the 49ers, all of a sudden, I won't lie to you. I was sitting there. It's like, wow. Are the Lions really about to do this? I won't lie. Threw a safe little bit on the 49ers money line at plus 300. I'm just like, you know what? Just in case they come back and we don't see the whatever you call it, the miracle or whatever, and we see the Lions actually do it, it'll be awesome. Let's see Lions. First Super Bowl ever. Only team not to make it to the Super Bowl since the Super Bowl era. Not this year. First, Moody ends up kicking a field goal, and then ends up kicking a field goal their first drive. The momentum killed. Josh Reynolds, 2 big drops on 4th down this week that pretty much killed them. I mean, both of them were definitely catchable balls. He 100% should have caught it. Feel for the guy, though. That really sucks to drop in that situation, but the guy should have caught the ball, for being realistic. Should have caught the ball. So I'm not gonna fault Dan Campbell at all for the losses, because I mean, realistically, if the guy catches the ball, this is a whole different game. I would fault him a little bit more if he ran stupid plays. I thought they actually ran pretty good plays. It's just the fact that the guy didn't happen to be open the 2 4th downs they ran. The big killer was the Jahmyr Gibbs fumble, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But along with those drops, because basically that drop happens, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, 49ers might have momentum now. They end up throwing a play that maybe should have been picked off. But not picked off. It bounces off the guy weird. Brandon Ayuk basically catches it off his body in the air. I recommend watching this on YouTube, whatever. Like, if you haven't seen on X, if you haven't seen this, Look it up. The Ricochet IU catch is probably going to go down in 49ers history, especially if they make the touchdown. Or sorry, if they they didn't score the touchdown. Brandon Ayuk scored that touchdown a few plays later. If they make the Super Bowl, and they win, not even that, if they win the Super Bowl, this, I will lie, is it weird to say this might be up there with the Dwight Clark catch? Is it weird to say this Brandon Ayuk Ricochet is going to be up there with the catch by Clark, assuming that the 49ers win the Super Bowl? It might even be up there now, I won't lie. Because after this play, Jahmyr Gibbs basically runs the wrong way, gets the ball weird. Fumbles the ball. 49ers get it right back. Christian McCaffrey scores another touchdown. And all of a sudden you're sitting there, it's like, oh my God, is this the same old Lions? 24-24 going into the fourth quarter. You get a Moody field goal with about 9 minutes left. At this point, you're sitting there with the Lions. You're like, man, what are the Lions going to do? What are the Lions going to do? I think at this point they fail another fourth down. I think there was another Josh Reynolds drop in here. It ends up being the killer. McCaffrey takes him right down the field. He ends up getting tired. They pull him out, and Elijah Mitchell vultures a touchdown. So shout out to Elijah Mitchell getting his name on the stat sheet. I think he seriously had like one carry for a touchdown. So I mean, it's pretty elite stat line. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, 4 for 7 for a touchdown. Okay, he got a lot more carries than I thought. I thought I only saw him. He probably got a few more at the end. But yeah, so pretty much after that, then Jared Goff and them, they score a touchdown with a minute left. But the biggest fluster of the whole game, 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal, whichever one it was. I'm pretty sure it's 3rd and goal. You hand off the ball to David Montgomery and have to waste the timeout. Either don't waste the timeout or don't run the football there. I almost hate that. I don't want to say I hate the play call, but I kind of do. I mean, I get what they were going at. Like, hey, they were expecting it. Let's run the ball. They stuffed it. And, I mean, they stuffed it. And the second that Dan Campbell called the timeout, it's like, oh, this game's probably over. Because if they can just get the 49ers can just get the onside now, which at this point in the NFL, it's impossible to get the onside anymore. Because at least just back then, like, you used to be able to, like, murder those people up front. Like, you would just have a guy run right through them, run the guys over, absolutely just destroy them, and then somebody else could come clean it up. But due to the safety rules and everything and how they set up the kickoffs, how they set up the, like, I don't think there's a running start in the kickoff anymore, like shit like that. Everything that they set up, it's almost impossible to get an onside anymore. So second Dan Campbell calls the timeout and they don't rush for that touchdown. It's like, oh, this game's probably over, isn't it? Sure enough, game's over. The Lions end up going home. They don't get the onside. 49ers end up winning 34-31. An absolute awesome game. I mean, Brock Purdy does it again, comes back after playing a horrible first half. They end up winning again. This is 2 weeks in a row now. So it's going to be interesting to see how they carry this forward. I'm for sure going to be on the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, I think. I just don't see how you beat Mahomes at this point. And I told you guys on this show, and I mentioned it on Captain By Hook with the Red Beer on Friday. If the Chiefs win, I will never ever bet against Mahomes in the playoffs again. I mean, I don't even care if I lose money at this point. It's not worth it. Because I mentioned this in his show, I don't know if I shared it on mine. In college, the 13-second game or 8-second game. I think it's 13-second. 13-second game. I was on the Bill. I wanted the Bills to win that game. I don't think I had anything bet really, but I wanted the Bills to win that game. I was all over it. I was all a Bills fan. They ended up not winning. It's like, oh, of course. The year the Bengals won the Super Bowl, I was happy for them. Then the following year, it's like, all right, I want to see the Bengals win. And then sure enough, so I was rooting for the Bengals. Even this time, I had some money on the Bengals. And sure enough, that was the play when the guy pushed Mahomes out of bounds and kicked the field goal to the Super Bowl. I just mean, there's been a good amount of games now where it's just like, all right, I just can't bet against this guy. Dolphins game this year. I was all over the Chiefs, had the correct score. The Dolphins only scored 7. It's like, all right, perfect. Yep, that makes sense. Next round, they play the Bills. It's like, man, I would love to see the Bills win, but I just can't take the Bills. You got to ride the Chiefs no matter what. And they were plus money again. Sure enough, they hit. And then this last game, I'll admit, I had a little bit on the Ravens. I'll admit. But I had a lot more on the Chiefs plus 3. And I'm sitting there, it's just like, man, this guy's going to, like, I want the Ravens to win. I have enough money on the Ravens where I'll be happy if they win. But if he does this again, man, it's getting written down in the betting, my little betting shrine, whatever you want to call it. No, I guess the shrine's probably a horrible word for that. The betting hall. Like, the Hall of Rules, whatever you want to call it. The rule book, the betting rule book. I want to think of a cooler word than betting rule book, but I guess that'll be it for right now. But the betting rule book, manifestos, whatever you want to call them. I'm not going to lie, they're written in pencil in there now. It was pencil, it's probably going to become pen now. You can never bet against Patrick Mahomes. I mean, it might be right up there next to it. You can't bet against Tom Brady. I did, because I'm a jackass, and I just betted with my heart a few times, but Man, Mahomes, I'm telling you, this dude's insane. He is just so good at football. It's actually unbelievable how good he is at football. The diving catch he had, or sorry, the wild throw he had for the diving catch for Travis Kelce, wow. I mean, they had plays like that. 4 of the last 5 Super Bowls has been Patrick Mahomes, and he's been a starter for, I think, 6 years? I want to say 5 to 6 years, and he's been in the Super Bowl 4 of those years. Man, I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's damn near impressive at this point. I don't know what to say about it. We're watching the next Brady, especially if he wins this Super Bowl. That's when it's going to start to be like, okay, Brady's actually going to have to watch out because this guy already at 28 has 3. And I mean, I'm not going to lie, it doesn't look like they're going to stop anytime soon. This is supposed to be the year the Chiefs weren't good, and the Chiefs were good again. So now we'll go into some NFL news. So for those of you who are now just clicking in for now, I talked about it slightly. The Chargers are working on hiring Ravens executive. What's his name? Joe Hortiz. I don't know who that is, so can't give you good information on that. I talked about it slightly, how I felt like this was Lamar's year, and that's what led me to realize, hey, let's actually break down the games. It really sucks. It did truly feel like it was Lamar's year. Andy Reid, the loss of the Raiders on Christmas Day was a good wake-up call. It's starting to become a thing, too. The Chiefs don't care about the regular season. If they can get to the dance in the playoffs, they're going to make the magic happen and be good no matter what now, it seems like. When it comes to the Falcons, Zach Robinson's their offensive coordinator. Jimmy Lake is their defensive coordinator, and Marquise, how do you say it? Sorry, I can't see it. Marquise Williams is their special teams coordinator. I'm assuming that Jimmy Lake and Raheem Morris are going to work together on the defense. I'm assuming that's not just a straight only defensive coordinator for him, but that's going to be really exciting, man. I'm very excited to see how I'm really excited to see how the Falcons do. They have a lot of young talent, new staff. I think Raheem Morris was probably going to be a good hire. It's not Vrabel or Belichick, but I still think he has a chance to be a potential good hire. I'm excited to see how that's going to go for them. Chiefs of Minnesota, he tore his ACL. That's going to really suck for them because he was actually pretty good for them this season. Apparently he's saying, there was a play where he kind of like looked like he hit his knee weird. I mean, you saw it, and it was kind of like, ooh, I hope that's not an ACL. Sure enough, it was. Really sucks. Sucks too because he's suspended for the first 6 games. And even being suspended for the first 6 games, he had a career high in sacks with 7, tackles with 28, and only 11 games this season. So, I mean, the dude was actually balling out, so that really sucks. They're going to lose him for a few games. Hopefully he's going to be able to come back next year, so hopefully they can win a Super Bowl for him, too, because that would be awesome for him. Because, yeah, it sucks. Sucks. He's played after missing 6 games. You work back all season to get to this point. You tear your ACL. Horrible feeling. Shout out to homie. Hope he starts to feel better, because, yeah, that really, truly sucks. Jason Kelce wants to remain with the Eagles when he retires. It sounds like he might be doing something in the front office, like a player role, come in and be. Sounds like he's going to do something to help the team. I don't know what exactly it's going to be, but it sounds like he's going to be around the team doing something. It could just be an advisor role where he comes in occasionally, offensive line coach potentially. Like, it's going to be something. I'm very curious to see what it is. The Steelers owner said we've had enough of the playoff win drought. All right. They aren't going to change anything, so it doesn't matter. They're going to do the same thing they did last year, and then they might change. I can't take this seriously because his owner says this, but he hasn't changed anything in the past 4 or 5 years. The Steelers team's been the same Steelers team for the past 4 or 5 years. They've just had a different quarterback under center who does almost the same thing. Like Mason Rudolph, I hate to say it, Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, Mr. Trubisky. I understand Mitch is probably the worst of them. Kenny's probably the better of the 3, but they're all kind of in the same boat. It feels like there's not someone there hasn't been a quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger. You're like, wow. That guy's a stud. Like, there's no offense to those two. They're good. They just aren't the best. Andy Reid came out and said Kadarius Toney's injury is not made up. He'll stay on the team. I don't think he's going to end up on the team much longer. Kadarius Toney, he's just had a few bad plays. He's come out on social media now and blast the Chiefs. I don't know, man. I won't lie. I've kind of lost faith with him myself, and I'm not even on the team. He has not been playing. He just hasn't been playing at all, really. I don't know what. I don't know. Either the player's lying or the coach is lying here. I don't think Andy Reid would be lying about an injury. I mean, obviously he could. But I'm just going to lean. I'm going to lean on trusting Andy Reid a slight bit here. I mean, they also said that Kadarius Toney was having his kid. So I don't know what's going on, honestly. I don't know. I mean, the biggest thing is he'd be playing if he was actually being a factor and helping out a lot. I mean, it kind of happened to him and McCole Hardman. I hate to say it. We'll talk about this when I talk about my bets here in a minute and how the betting weekend went. I mean, McCole Hardman, he messed up a little bit. They ended up getting doghouse. I mean, it's just how it goes. And I hate to say it, they've been almost playing better since Tony's been out. I don't know if that's just because they've woken up in the playoffs or what, but this is hilarious. Brandon Ayuk before the game, he's like, before the game, a ladybug landed on my shoe. Just great luck. God was with us today. Great win. Bang, bang, Niner gang. So that's pretty funny. Makes sense why he caught that ball now. The football gods and the ladybugs are on their side. Shout out. Yep. 49ers open as Super Bowl favorites. I already hopped on the line. I'll read the line right now. I jumped on this line when it's +1. It was open +124. I got +122, +120 on the Chiefs. Last time we looked, it was -104 Chiefs. I don't. Now it's back up to +106. It was -104 yesterday. This line's just going to bounce around a lot. I already have a good amount on the Chiefs money line. I'll probably end up with more. I won't lie. Zay Flowers, I learned from my mistakes after the fumble versus Chiefs. I mean, it's tough, man. He's trying to make a play, make a touchdown. L'Jarius Sneed just happens to make the better play. I mean, both men were trying to make a play. L'Jarius made the better one. Browns are hiring Ken Dorsey as their OC, which is going to be interesting just to see how he does. I didn't think he was horrible with the Bills, but he wasn't. By the way, it's L'Jarius Sneed. I don't know why I said L'Darius or whatever I said earlier. Some stupid ass shit. But yeah, no, I don't know how he's going to do for the Browns. It'll just be interesting to see. They have Nick Chubb, though, so that should be good. Very interesting to see how they do offensively. Yep. Kelsey also broke Jerry Rice's playoff catch record. This with the 11 catch effort he had, he broke the record of 151 catches. Now it's, I don't know how many he has at this point, but after the game, but he now holds the record for receptions in the postseason and touchdowns in the postseason as a duo. And when it comes to his totals, he has 1,800 receiving yards and 19 receiving touchdowns, which are only second to Jerry Rice at 2,222 scores. So he could realistically pass the touchdown mark, I think, in the next two seasons. I don't know if he'll pass the yards, but I think there is a good chance that we see Kelsey being the all-time touchdown leaders in the playoffs. I would not be shocked, depending on when he retires or not. The Bills are handing Joe Brady the permanent OC job, which is really interesting. I thought he played pretty well. I thought he did pretty well for them on the second half run, so it's good for them. The Steelers are interviewing Artie Smith for their OC job, which is pretty good. By the way, that could Justin Tucker fight thing that happened with Mahomes pregame. You love that. I love shit like that. That's the playoffs, man. You want to see people getting mad with each other, getting tensions high. It's like, hey, we know what's on the line. And sure, I just think it's funny that. By the way, Goff and Lions are set for extension talks this offseason. That's going to be really good for Jared Goff. Shout out to him for finding a new home. But yeah, I love the playoffs. Like, I wish the 49ers Lions had more of like that animosity towards each other. Like, I love that hatred stuff because you're like, nah, we getting you today. You ain't getting us. And then you saw it. I love the I won't lie. The Ravens were a little too bad with it, though, where they let it seep over into the game, where they were headbutting people in the game. They were getting penalties called on them in the game. That was a little bit too far, I'll admit. But yeah, Eagles are hiring Kellen Moore as an OC as well. That's going to be an interesting move for them. He likes to throw the ball a lot more than running it, so I'm going to be very interested to see if he converts to Jalen Hurts, how Jalen Hurts converts for him. That's going to be very interesting. Patriots are expected to promote their defensive line coach, Covington, or what's his last name? DeMarcus Covington to D.C. Good move for the Patriots, another in-house guy. Bears are to hire Bills, Washington. Is this their... defensive line coach Eric Washington as their defensive coordinator. So obviously, for those of you who don't know, Matt Eberflus is the main defensive coordinator. So I don't know who's going to call plays or who's going to do what between Washington and Eberflus, but they're obviously going to be working in tandem for Chicago. Chicago also signed Shane Waldron too, so I kind of like what they're doing offensively. It makes you think they're going to go with Caleb Williams at number one though, because they're kind of just changing around everything, and probably contract-wise, it's probably better for them. The man guilty. So apparently Will Smith in 2016. Yeah, so there's a traffic crash with Will Smith about 8 years ago today, and the guy who did it was convicted of manslaughter. So the guys who did it was previously convicted in 2016 of this, for, I don't know. Okay, so I don't know how to read this. I don't know how to read this exactly in the court-wise, but basically, so this guy was put into jail for a few years after killing somebody else while also being on trial for this. So he went for 4 years for whatever, and then he was out. And then due to COVID and everything, it delayed the whole process, and then this guy came back in. So basically, just shout out to Will Smith and his family getting basically just getting their justice, man. It sounds like this guy was... Sounds like the guy who did it was deserved it. I don't know the whole story, obviously, as you can tell, but the guy who shot him, Will Smith, is now going to be going to jail for... Excuse me. This guy's going to be going to jail for a good amount of time, which is deserved. I won't lie. Flacco backs Hamilton as the comeback player of the year, which I respect. If Hamilton wins the comeback player of the year, I'm going to lose all respect for that award. It's nothing to do with Hamilton. Hamilton played like 3 or 4 games. I mean, why are people like Breece Hall not winning it? Why are people not like Joe Flacco? Joe Flacco was literally on the couch and he led the team to a playoff game. Like, it's insane how disrespectful. But I mean, it should almost be like humility. I mean, I just can't get mad at him. I mean, I get why Hamlin's getting it, honestly. So I'm not gonna I'm gonna look like an asshole if I say like, oh, this guy doesn't deserve it. Why is he getting it? Because he does. I'll admit the aspect of it he deserves is the fact that the fact of it that he does deserve is he did come back from something very, very scary. Baker Mayfield, why is Baker Mayfield Baker Mayfield should be in that? Breece Hall should be in that. Like I said, I understand why DeMar Hamlin's going to win it, because what he went through last year to be able to even come back and play football is awesome, but, man, I don't know. He didn't play a lot this year, so the biggest thing is you're going to give it to a guy who didn't play at all, who just kind of made the team. But, like I said, I'm not going to diss him at all, because he did get some snaps at least in, and like I said, he came back from something that only some of us could imagine, so... Yeah, I'm just going to let it be at that. Watson's encouraging G. Higgins to join them. The Browns, we'll see. That's going to be very interesting to see what the Bengals do to keep T. Higgins or not. Jared Goff, I don't think that's big news. Never mind. NFL confident and great team maintaining grass for the Super Bowl. Because if you don't remember last year, the team that handled the grass last year kind of just absolutely screwed it up. Titans coach Callahan opened Derrick Henry returning 24. We'll see. I don't know. The way he made it sound, he'll probably gone. Packers are interested in Staley for the DC job. That's very interesting. He might be a better DC than a head coach. That could be a real thing. Apparently, this Irsay thing from December 8th, they thought he had a heart failure. So apparently, when they called in for Jim Irsay and they said, "Hey, we think this guy's having congestive heart failure. Will you please come get him?" So that's what the 911 call said. So it sounds like there was I won't lie. Still, the fact that nothing's really come out about this Jim Irsay thing is very interesting. One officer wrote in his report they had fallen into the bathroom and moved to his bed and was cool to the touch. Irsay had oxygen in his nose and was cool to the touch and had agonal breathing. I won't lie. They just have not. I don't know. And here we go. This aside again, it goes, he has an addiction to painkillers. He's had a history of addiction to painkillers and blah, 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 blah. I don't know why they feel the need to throw it. I don't know why articles need to feel to throw it in every time. It's like everyone knows the history of Jim Irsay's, and then still they haven't come out and said anything about this, which makes me wonder, what is going on, man? Really makes you wonder. By the way, Kayshon Boutte is being charged in an illegal betting scheme. He bet over 8,900 bets. Bet up so much money, and he did this while in college and for the Patriots. He bet on himself at LSU, so that's a good thing. Is he at least bet on himself, didn't bet on anybody else, bet against himself, bet against his team. But yeah, he was definitely feeling himself. Like a game against Florida State, he bet on himself to go on the over and a touchdown, and that did not happen. But I give him the props. Lamar's going to win they're naming the MVP contenders. It's going to be Lamar. I don't see how it's anybody else. And I think that's going to do it. I think we got everything else. We already talked about Canales going to the Panthers. Jaguars are committed to Lawrence extension. That's not shocking at all. Saquon is now coming out and saying, I could see myself playing for another team. That's huge because originally, early on, he was saying, I only see myself as a Giant. So, yeah, that's very interesting to see now that he's open to changing and everything. But yeah, that's going to do it for the news section. Pretty much to end this show, we'll talk about the gambling part of the I don't know. Thursday too, by the way. Thursday I'm going to talk about the gambling part of the season. Today I'll probably just go over what happened last weekend. But Thursday I'm going to go over Even though I'm doing it this next Thursday or Tuesday, I'm going to go over pretty much just how the gambling season went for me overall. I think this is probably one of my best gambling seasons on football ever. Knock on wood. It was a run. I tell you what, it was a run. We had especially some really, really good weeks. Knock on wood. So far, I've cashed out money every weekend of the playoffs. To talk about the betting weekend over this playoff series, I'm not going to go into specific numbers, but big, really big, and then big are the last 3 weekends I've cashed out money for. And this is I'll be realistic with you. I leave about 100 in the betting account. If it's under 100, I'm not even cashing out, not even questioning about it. So I was able to have at least one account where I was able to cash out on, so that was really, really awesome. Yeah, it's honestly been a great football ride. It's just sad, it makes me sad to think it's over because it's been so damn fun, honestly. I've been really enjoying this football season. It's been a lot of fun, man. It truly has been a lot of fun. Like I said, going into the betting for the Super Bowl real quick, I'll talk about a few things I like, and then I'll go over the history. Already on the Chiefs money line, like I said, I have some Chiefs correct scores. I have them 28-31. I don't know. I just have a feeling, I guess. So those are my very, very early leans. I also took Mahomes and Brock Purdy to combine for 150 rush yards because I just don't know how long that's going to be, or for combined for 50 plus rush yards because I don't know how long it's going to be there, and I think Mahomes at least is going to get 20 or 30. It just depends how much everyone else is going to get. But yeah, going into the betting for last weekend though, we'll talk about that last weekend. I think it was actually a good weekend overall. For this playoff so far, if you're curious, like if you're new to the channel and you don't know how I've done so far, for the NFL playoffs this so far, not counting, I need to count this upcoming weeks, but I haven't counted the upcoming weeks yet. For the divisional and the wild card round, we're 4-3 on the straights, which are pretty much just the money lines or spreads. 14-5 on the props, absolutely killing the prop game. And the touchdown scores were 11-13. Touchdown scores, I'll admit, the only reason it's so bad is because I give out like 4 or 5 a game. So if you only scored 2 out of 5, do that a few games in a row, it's gonna make it look a little ugly. But the big one's 14-5 on the props. Absolutely been killing the prop game. I don't like. This is not me to brag. Like this is not me bragging. It's just been awesome to see. Because going into we'll talk about to end it. We'll talk about pretty much how my betting weekend went this past week, and then we'll end it with just kind of a talk what the plan is till Super Bowl. Because man, I won't lie, it kind of sucks we have to wait a week. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for the Super Bowl now. But yeah, Chiefs plus 3.5, Lions plus 3.5. Both those cover. Both those covers. Like I said, I even bet 49ers money line at halftime, so that backdoor cover was insane. Ended up winning easily close to 200 on just the Lions plus 7 and the 49ers money line by that point. MVS, like I said, shout out to him. He got over his 1.5 receptions and over his 15.5 yards on the very last play, pretty much. Very last play. Because, dude, I won't lie. I was sweating there for a little bit. It's like, man, bro's only really going to get one catch all game. And I saw that bomb happen. The second MVS caught it. I'm like, yeah, that's nice. That is nice. So that was really nice. Because, so we hit over his receptions, over his receiving yards. And then another one was really nice. McCole Hardman under 10.5. I called that one pretty good. I like that. He basically just didn't play. That's pretty much what I figured might happen. MVS seemed like took a lot of those spots. And when he wasn't taking those spots, they had Richie James in. So those are going to be 2 guys to look forward to going into the Super Bowl. I'm going to see what's up with them because, I don't know if McCall Hardman's going to be getting much more playing time anymore. I hate to say it. This isn't me bragging about, yes, I'm glad this guy didn't get any playing time. I just figured, there's a chance he was going to get doghouse, and it seems like he might be getting doghouse slightly. I did miss Noah Gray over 10.5. Over 9.5. He got 8 yards. That's just unlucky. That's just unlucky, honestly. Lamar Jackson over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Lamar just didn't do too good. He threw 1 at least, so that's nice. We'll take that. I don't think Jared Goff hit his rush over. I'm not going to lie. I just thought about that. So, if you go to that, before I go to that, though, Likely didn't, by the way, none of my, Pacheco and Kelsey both scored their touchdowns, but Cook and Likely did not. Cook didn't even play, so I'll consider myself 2-1 for that one, because Cook basically didn't even play, so I won't lie to you. I ended up not betting it at all. I just kind of... That was the one touchdown bet I didn't bet, and I was just kind of sitting back waiting. It's like, oh, he's not getting a touch. Basically, by game flow. By halftime of the game flow, I'm like, Cook might not be touching the field. So I ended up not taking it, but 2-2 right there isn't horrible for the touchdown scores. Like I said, I don't think Goff hit his rush over, so I'm going to double-check that real quick. which is hilarious because I won't lie. Only 1.5 is so damn low. Yeah, no, he had no rush. He didn't rush at all, so which is okay. So now, yeah, that sucks. He did not hit, but Brock Purdy hit his, which is a nice one. Brock Purdy hit his rushing over by like 500,000 yards. His rushing over 7.5. He ended up with like 48 after he took some knees, so that's interesting there. Christian McCaffrey over 86.5 rushing yards. He hit that pretty much in the last carry, so it was clutch. Ayuk did not hit any of his overs though, so that's the only sad thing. He was just slightly short. He did score a touchdown though, so that was nice. But Kittle did not score a touchdown. CMC scored his touchdown as well, which we kind of figured going into it. Sorry, I'm trying to like tally this so I can give you guys the number after this. We did have Monty and Gibbs as well, so there's that's not a bad one at all. And then my favorite bet probably of the day, Gibbs over 22.5 did not hit, I'll admit. So I won't lie. Looks like we went 5-5 on props. We ended up with a win, 6-5. We ended up going 6-5 on props because we had 49ers correct score over 34. We had 31 as well, so I guess 6-6 I did. So 6-6 isn't horrible at all, but Niners correct score 34. That was plus close to I think 1,200. Yeah, that was the nice one of the day, and then yeah, well, nice little weekend. Because I think that's about all I took betting wise. Did not bet on Jennings since Debo played. Ayuk did score a touchdown as well. I did forget about that. So, oh wait, did I do this right? I might have not done it right. So we got Kelsey, Pacheco, Ayuk, Laporta. Oh no, Laporta not Gibbs, Monty. Oh no, we did right. We're good. I did it right. All right, so yeah, 2-0 on the. So pretty much in this betting segment, kind of talk about it. Next Thursday, it's going to be so fun breaking down the whole damn Super Bowl. I'm gonna have a scroll worth of bets. I'll probably break it down into 2 parts. But yeah, 2-0 on the spreads that we gave out. We covered the Chiefs plus 3.5. Lions covered the 7. 6-6 on the 6-6 on the props. So it does suck. So we're now 20-11 overall. Not horrible. It could be a little bit better, but we ain't complaining. But yeah, it's basically to end it real quick. Sorry, I was trying to do some last minute. I was trying to basically delay so I could pull up the thing to pull up my. I have all my tallies and everything right here, so I just wanted to pull that up so I could do it. So I can give you the final score. So after all that, by the way, touchdown scores this week 6-2. Only missed Laporta and Kittle pretty much. Laporta, Kittle, that hurt, and Likely I guess. So sorry, 6-3. I forgot Likely didn't score. 6-3. Yeesh. Yeah, no. So now for the straights, 6-3. Picking 6-3, and then for the props, like I said, we finished 6-6, so that gives us a record of 20-11. And then for the touchdown scores, we finished with a nice little 6-3, so that gives us a record of 17-16. So now you might be doing like, wait, are you? Yes, I am. Straights 6-3, props 20-11, touchdown scores 17-16. This last little weekend got me just right up, so now we're perfectly good, and we're in the money, baby. Let's do it. So that's going to do it for today. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for all the support. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, it's going to be a fun one, man. Just broke down. We have one more game left. The Super Bowl, Chiefs, 49ers. I'm on the Chiefs, like I said. Thursday, I think I am going to talk about kind of like the journey, how these teams get here. What did we miss anything from the season? Like, this felt like, I'll double check, see maybe what the odds were at the beginning of the year for Super Bowl. I mean, basically, it's just going to be a journey. Like I said, journey of how these two teams got here, what they did to get here, and now basically who has a chance to win it. So that's going to be Thursday. Hopefully my boy will come on and talk about some college basketball as well. That will be the plan to have another episode for that. But then Tuesday we'll pretty much... next week's all Super Bowl talk. That's the easiest way to put it. It's going to be all Super Bowl talk. We'll find different ways to talk about it. Get ready for the big game. I can't wait, man. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for support. I really do appreciate it. Check out Stay On Sports. I'm going to have my breakdown article coming out tonight or tomorrow of just how everything went. Pretty much just a written version of this video. And also we'll have some more news on there about what's going on in the NFL.